going to do a little video. In one of my recent videos I mentioned that I was going to look into seeing if I could make some kind of tooling to do some profiling on the Taig Lathe, and so I've been kind of busy looking at things, and I decided to give the C-line a bit of a rest. I can only do so much, and then I have to go on to something else. I've got lots of unfinished symphonies. Anyway, I decided that I wanted to try making some kind of a tooling to do some profiling. In particular, maybe a complete handle with balls on, all in one piece instead of making it up from 3 pieces. I thought it would be an opportunity to try something, another accessory for the lathe. I like doing tooling. I like doing different things, and so anyway, I got on the CAD and done some rough drawings, really, just to give me an idea of what I was going to go about. And part of the beginning of the thinking about this, many years ago, probably 30 years ago, I belonged to a club in Winnipeg, and there was one of the members of the club. It was the Manitoba Live Steamers, by the way. One of the members at the club, he worked at a machine shop, and he came in one evening with the meetings, and he had a whole pile of this material that he was giving away. So I, not being greedy, there was lots there, so I took 4 of these bars, and as you can see, they belong to some machine, and I don't know, he didn't mention anything about it, and it was a club meeting. So I got 4 of these bars, and you can see that they were actually a casting. If you look just there, you'll see the imprint of or embossed in the casting some lettering, and so I believe it came from some machine, and it was no good apparently. So anyway, I don't know whether he did it or not, but there was 4 sides, 4 faces were ground, so it's nice and square, so it makes up a nice piece of steel. It's cast steel, I believe. It's not cast iron. But it does machine like cast iron. So I think it's cast steel, and it's really, really nice stuff. Very, very heavy. Nice for tooling, you know. And cast iron obviously is a beautiful material to machine with. So anyway, what I did was I decided that I was going to let me go back a little bit here. Previous in some of my videos, you'll see that I have built a ball turner from the designer from a guy in Australia, and it's a nice little thing, but I often like to make things and use my own material if I can. So you probably won't see it on that video, but I actually made the base from 2 pieces of this bolted together to make the base, 3 inches I think it was, no, 2.5 inches wide. But what I did, I cut off 2 pieces, and then I placed them together, because it's nice and square, placed them up against one another like this, and then I drilled, like that, and then I machined off this chunk here, and then I drilled and bored for cap screws, threaded into this side, and that was the actual base. So I figure it was well worth it. It's nice material, and I eventually got rid of it. You can't take it with you, can you? And I think about that quite often these days. So anyway, I decided with this profile tooling that I would use some of this material. And so I cut off two pieces, and I'm going to use, if you saw the video with my my top slide modification of the tool holder that is on the end of the top slide, it fits on a V block, on a V a male V whatever, you know what I mean. And so I thought, well, if I take that off the top slide, can't use both at the same time, take the holder off the top slide and put it on here. Where are we? There. Put it on like so, and it would be fitting on here. So the dovetail will be boy, oh boy, oh boy, I'm never prepared. The dovetail will actually be going in that direction, so that the tool holder will slip down onto this block. Now I've just machined this piece off of this block so that I've got a rectangular block, flat block on all 6 sides, and so that's one of the jobs that I have to do. I have to put a male V, machine a male V to suit the holder on the top slide, and then I'm going to machine, because I have quite a bit of meat here, I'm going to machine a dovetail, a female, female. I'm getting confused now, but anyway, I'm gonna mill a dovetail in these 2 pieces, so that this will, when it's down on the top, on the cross slide, it will slide in backwards and forwards on the dovetail. Now I'll have to make that a fairly good fit, because I don't want to put any jibs strips in there. So I'm going to be careful when I fit that. And then what will take place is, if you're looking at the front of the lathe with the handle, this will be, I'll machine this so that I can get some screws in there, and then I can lock this block down on the cross slide with these 2 bolts and T-nuts, and then this will slide on in the dovetail, and then the tool holder will drop down on that dovetail, and I can adjust the height of the tool for center. So that's what I intend. I don't know if this thing is going to work. One of the problems is you have to have a free sliding table of some kind to allow it to freely follow the profile that you have at the back of the machine, which could be any kind of shape, and that has to be, this sliding block has to be attached in a way with some kind of a fixture that will actually have something on the end of it that will follow the profile, and as you go along on your main bed, then this will slide and move around according to the profile. There's problems that are going to arise from that, I'm pretty sure. I'm not really sure how I'm going to keep the tool bit in contact with the part that I'm machining in the lathe, either by using just hand pressure to machine, or springs, use a spring or maybe a compression rubber. I have absolutely no idea. I haven't really got to that stage. It's quite possible I may do a with a small end mill the profile in the plate, so that I can drop a pin in there, and that should take up any slack or any movement in both directions. So it would be nice if it would follow that profile without myself applying any pressure on it or using other methods. So I haven't come to that yet, but this is all ad lib, really, you could say. But anyway, I got to that stage here where I cut this off, and I machined. You can see the machining marks. I used a little fly cutter. I have a little tiny fly cutter, and just as a bit of information, the pressure on this slide, when it's attached to the cross slide and trying to produce the same form that's on the former, it won't be big cuts. I mean, let's face it, the Taig Lathe is like a roller skate when you compare it to one of these bigger lathes, even the Chinese lathes. It's really like a roller skate compared to a motor car, you know. So I'm hoping that things are going to work out. But now, getting back to this, I thought I'd do this. I've had several times I've mentioned a process of machining a block in the mill and getting it square all over for accuracy, and it all depends on the accuracy really of the machine and the vise. I'm assuming that if you're going to use a milling machine, that you'll have a pretty good vise on there. Maybe one of these Chinese tool makers' vices, whatever. And there's several ways of doing it, but way back, I worked with a tool and die man that showed me another way of machining up all 6 sides so that they're square without using a set square, or by milling on the side of the cutter to square it up. And there's nothing wrong with that, but this, I've tried to explain this to groups, and they don't seem to understand. They can't seem to get the grasp of it. And so I thought, well, I've got 2 bare edges here, two sawn edges on the ends. I thought I'd take the camera, because I can't pause this damn thing. I don't know. I seem to switch it off, and then it loads up with another video on YouTube. So I get, like, if I want to show 2 separate things, I can't pause and take it over to the other machine and then just press record again, and it carries on. If anybody can put me in the picture, so to speak, about doing that, then I'd appreciate it. So anyway, I'm going to take the camera over to the milling machine now and try and explain to you how to square up these two ends without using a set square and without holding it in the vise in a horizontal plane. So I'll do that now. So I'll leave the camera running, and I'll just take it over to my milling machine. Not much room here. Okay, now I think maybe I'll leave that like that. Okay. Okay, I'll try and explain this to you as I go along. Let's move that around, get that up there. Hope that'll do it. I'm getting low on battery as well, so I better hurry up. Okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to place this. I'm just going to place it in the vise. Okay, and I'll just square it up by eye. I won't use a set square. I'll just place it up by eye, and then I'll take a cut. Now it's sticking up in the air, so you really need to take a gentle cut. You don't want to whack it, because then it could go over and you could have a nasty. So just switch it on. I don't know what speed I have it on. It's not very fast, maybe 600 or 700. I'll wind it down until I get a cut. And it doesn't matter if it cuts on one edge. Okay, we've got some noise. Okay, a bit more. So I can see from here that it's cutting just on that edge there. So I'll put a little cut on, and so here we go. Now, because I've got it clamped between here, we know that way it's going to be square. It may not be square that way from this face, from this corner, but it'll be square that way as long as your vise is square. So, okay, I'm kind of lucky. Yeah, I'm kind of lucky because my eyesight must be pretty good. I'll just put another one on just to show. Okay. So now it's squaring up these two faces. Right. Okay. So, now if we take this block out, and place it on the face that you use to do the other four sides. Okay, if I put that in there now, we know that it's vertical, it's square from the base in that plane, all right? So I'll just this is a nice vise. I bought this vise off of eBay, and it's got a nice feature on it. It's got like a rack and pinion to move the moving jaw in and out, and you got like a double rack. The sliding block locks into the fixed one underneath here, and as you tighten up they come together and lock. So you get many, or you probably got about maybe 10 little V's all locking together. So it's really a nice vice, and I bought it on eBay, and I'm really pleased with it. It was hand built by a tool and die man. I don't know whether he was South American or what, but he's got a South American name or Spanish name, or could be Italian, but he really did a lovely job on it. Okay. Now that I've done this, put a cut on, see what we get. Okay. Right, now we know that this face and this face are square with this in this plane, and we also know, because we clean that face up, we also know that this face and this face is square. So the only thing you have to do now is to go back, because you have to remachine this face, this first face that you did, because it may be not square, you see. So you place that back in there, and you tighten up.